Welcome to Rooted, Stories of Community-Driven Change, a special podcast partnership between Island Girls Rock and the Clara Lionel Foundation. We are sitting down with women leaders across the U.S. South and the Caribbean who are leading organizations rooted in culture, community, and purpose. These are the voices reshaping local power structures, uplifting traditions, and proving that the most powerful innovations emerge from deep community roots. In this episode of Rooted, we are in conversation with Florence Jean-Louis Vorbe, who is the Executive Director of PROFAMIL. PROFAMIL is the Association for the Promotion of the Haitian Family, and we're speaking to her about what it means to protect women's health and dignity in Haiti across decades of change, crisis, and unwavering commitment. Now, there are elements of this conversation which might be triggering for some of our listeners. So we ask you to hold yourself in care and to listen and pause as the need arises. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rooted. So we were just in the Low Country for the previous episode, and now we return to Haiti. Haiti is a country that the world has often reduced to its crises. And you know what? No. But within Haiti, there are women who have never stopped building, women who show up decade after decade with resources that are scarce and with needs that are immense, and who refuse to let their communities go without care. And we love that. And today's guest is one of those women. That's right. Florence Jean-Louis Vorbe is the Executive Director of PROFAMIL, the Association for the Promotion of the Haitian Family, and one of Haiti's most respected voices in sexual and reproductive health. Founded in 1984, PROFAMIL has been a lifeline for hundreds of thousands of Haitian women, girls, men, and young people, running permanent clinics, mobile health units, and community health networks across the country, including the most remote and vulnerable communities. Florence leads this work at a moment of extraordinary pressure. Haiti is navigating overlapping crises: political instability, gang violence, the collapse of public services, and the withdrawal of international aid. And yet, ProFamil is still there, still open, still moving. In this episode, we are exploring what it means to hold the line for women's health and dignity when everything around you is shifting. We are talking about origin stories, how Florence found her way to this work, how ProFamil was built, and what it means to be in partnership with the Clara Lionel Foundation as part of a broader vision for a more resilient Caribbean and world at large. Florence, welcome to Rooted.
Thank you. For having me.
It is a pleasure, a true pleasure. So, before we talk about the work, we actually want to know about you. Can you tell us who you feel you are, where you come from, and how you first understood that health, and more specifically women's health, was going to be your life's work?
Yes, thank you. Yes, so my name, as you said, is Florence Jean-Louis Vorbe. I am an Asian woman, feminist physician, and I lead on a local organization, as you said, called ProFamil. The first time that I wanted to work with women and girls, as I said, I'm a physician. It was in the
Mhm.
clinical work. And when I came back to Haiti after my studies, I saw that clinical was not enough. We really needed to address the causes of the problematic of women's health, because women's health is not only a biological happening. There are a lot of social causes that impact women's health, and I wanted to invest my energy and what I know more toward this than toward only the clinical work. So that's how I began with all of this.
Okay, so it almost feels like you wanted to approach it from a more holistic perspective.
Exactly, definitely.
Wonderful. So, what was Haiti like for women and girls when you first decided, I am stepping into this? And, sometimes we're jumping into things and not everything is clear, but you feel like this is where I need to be and I'll figure out the rest. What made you believe that change was possible?
Yes, when I arrived in Haiti, it was really a moment when there was a lot of hope for change, even though the situation of women's health was very difficult. There were also a lot of things being done to reverse this situation. So it was already at that time a country where we had a very high women mortality,
Mhm,
especially of women giving birth, but
mhm,
also a lot of other pathologies like the epidemic of HIV,
mhm.
like problems of cancer of the cervix.
Right.
That was very high. And at that time, we didn't know yet that it was a sexually transmitted disease.
Okay.
But we knew that the conditions of life in Haiti for women were all determinants of this state of health. At the same time, we had a lot of activists, feminists,
Mhm.
that were working toward an increase of the quality of life of women. And we had some laws I'm talking about beginnings of 2000s.
Okay.
There were new laws that we were discussing, like it was when the law passed that violation was a crime, for example, because before it was not a crime in Haiti. It
Oh,
was just in French we say a délit, not a
mhm.
crime, something illegal but not a
Okay.
crime.
So it wasn't punishable.
It was punishable,
It
but for
was?
some months only. It was not a criminal offense.
Oh, oh wow. I'm
So it
sorry,
Mhm.
Florence, and you're saying this was the early 2000s?
The early 2000s.
Oh
And
wow.
but there was the space to
Hmm.
reverse that, and we did
Okay.
until we passed this law. We also passed the law that also that violation within a marriage was still a violation, that there
Yes.
was no obligation to have sex just because you were married.
Married. Yes.
And then there was also the law that we passed for we say paternité responsable in French,
Hmm.
responsible paternity. So that the
Okay.
men have to recognize their child even though it's out of
Right.
marriage, and they
Right.
have to take care of their children even though it's with other women that are not their wife. So
Right.
there were all of this. So we really thought, because there were these changes, even though the situation was bad, but
Hmm.
there was a lot of movement
Right.
toward change, and there
Right.
were some changes that we found. So it was with a lot of hope and a lot of optimism that I began with this work at that
Okay.
time.
And this was early 2000s, right?
Yes, In Haiti, yes. When
In
I came
Haiti.
back, because I didn't study in Haiti. So
Hmm.
when I came back after studying, yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back just a little in time. So
Mm-hmm.
we know where you are in the early 2000s. This is when you make that decision. This is my work. This is what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go back in time to 1984, which is when PROFAMIL has been serving communities in Haiti since that time. So I want to give some context to anyone listening. For people who are hearing about the organization for the first time today, can you actually describe what PROFAMIL does and what it may feel like to walk into one of your clinics?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, ProFamily is a great institution, local, 100% Asian,
Mm,
that was created, as you said, in 1984 with a local board that was very interested in
yes.
helping Asian women to have a choice about if they want to have children, when, how much, etc. So about family planning at the beginning, it was
Hmm.
especially about family planning because it was not a service that was readily available for all women in Haiti.
Right.
It's still not available for all women in Haiti, but there's more availability now. So they began with this work with funding clinics. Since the beginning, they had clinics in Port-au-Prince and in the southeast, and they were working with affiliated clinics where they did train the providers to give family planning services to the population.
Hmm.
Without that, there is very, very little access to family planning, modern's way to plan the family in the country in general. So that's how it began. And
Hmm.
little by little also, because it was working mainly with women and with girls and learning all the barriers that they had to have access to services, it
Hmm.
be it transforms itself little by little in a clinic for women and girls where all the services were available.
Okay.
Um, we now offer all the continuum of services for women and girls, from gynecological consultations, contraception, screenings, prenatal care, postnatal care,
Wow.
to women and girls that cannot afford a private doctor.
Hmm.
And the only service that we don't offer for now is
Hmm.
the birth center service, that
Okay.
but we have the project to offer it in the next couple of years.
Okay.
We also work with youth clubs around our clinics where we do a lot of complete sexual education,
Yes.
and also a lot of work on auto-esteem
Hmm.
and of agency, will skills, competence skills, survival skills, for them to be able to have enough agency in the future to have the life that they deserve.
Yes.
So we have on one side the clinical work,
Hmm.
and on the other side the work with the youth. And just one thing that I want to add, because we are very proud of that, we are really the only clinic in the country that offer vasectomy as an option for family planning.
Ah, wow. Well done. Well done to you and the team, Florence. And I have to say, already in the first few minutes of our conversation, I have learned so much about the breadth of the work which ProFamil offers communities. And I really appreciate you. I have to say this also that you agreed to do this conversation, to have this conversation in your, not in your, what they like to say, your mother tongue, right? Which is French. And
Yes.
for me,
French and Creole.
French and
We have to
Creole,
say yes, yes,
both
it's
of them.
important.
Thank you.
Yes.
That is important. Thank you for that. It's an important distinction. And I have to say thank you because my French is terrible. And I could never have done this. And you are actually encouraging me to go back and reconnect with French and Creole. Okay. So next time we have a conversation, I'm going to do this. Next time we have a conversation, at least 10% of the conversation will be in either Haitian Creole or French. Okay.
Great, great. Yes,
D'accord?
yes.
D'accord?
I look forward for that.
Good. Thank you. So, Profamil, and this is something that I love about Profamil. I mean, there are many things, but one of the things I love is that you build programs that do not depend entirely on international donors. And I know that is bold and I'm going to try French, très difficile, a very difficult vision. Where did that commitment come from? And what has it taken to protect it?
Yes, it's very difficult, but it's also one of the reasons that we still survive, while a
Hmm.
lot of other institutions have had to close their doors.
Right.
Um, well, the idea behind that is that first we have a nation institution. We want to be able to follow our vision, our mission,
Hmm.
and when you depend exclusively on external funding, you're not able to do that because when you're completely dependent, there are some tendencies from the donor to put conditions on
Right.
their
Right.
funding.
Yes.
So this is some of the things that we don't want because we are an institution that defend essentially sexual and reproductive rights,
Hmm.
and you know that sexual and reproductive rights have been are being, how do you say fought,
Yes. Fought. Fought.
by a lot of anti-rights movements.
Yes.
So if we completely give ourselves, let's say, to the donors, it may be possible that sometime we have to compromise with our vision, our mission, and what we really believe in.
Yes.
We have, for our organizations, we have various source of funding. We would really like to be completely autonomous for our
Mm.
basic services.
Hmm.
For now, we can, for our basic services, we can fund like 60%
Hmm.
of our clinical work with the revenues of our clinics, because in our clinics, even though if it is for vulnerable population, we do have paid services.
Okay.
We analyze when there's a need to exonerate some of people that live in precarity, but
Okay.
normally our costs are very low, and a lot of people can pay for them.
Okay.
And it's really lower than the cost even of services sometimes in a public hospital or clinic.
Right. Right.
So, but it gives us enough revenue to cover more or less like 60% of our basic
Oh.
expenses. Then we have really a diversity of donors.
Hmm.
We have donors like Clara Lionel Foundation that really believe in our work
Hmm.
and that agree to fund our work
Yes.
without really putting any specific condition. And then we have projects, but projects that we conceive that are funded for a limited time by different private most of them are private donors, some
Mm-hmm.
by the United Nations, but the core of our work really continues with organizations like Clara Lionel Foundation who believe in our work and with our own
Yes.
revenues.
Yes.
And we want to keep it like this.
Right.
So,
Of
so
course.
we can survive and so we can keep on really defending,
Mm.
promoting the sexual and reproductive rights of the population.
Yes. And I understand, of course you're open to partnerships and funding, but I feel like, and you've indicated that there is something truly special about your partnership with the Clara Lionel Foundation. And I wanted to spend a bit more time here with that and really understand what it means to you when a partner truly listens and tailors their support to what you actually need rather than what they may assume you need.
It's really a big, a big change, and it brings on results that are so different, so big, so aligned with what we're looking for. Because the first thing is that Clara Lionel Foundation really believes in human rights, really
Mm.
believe in rights of women and girls, really believe that youth are important for a population to develop, and really believe that this youth must be educated and know their right so they can realize their potential. And once and because they are aligned with us on that, and because they can have the confidence and believe that we will act, we will never compromise that, they
Yes.
are confident enough to tell us, well, we are helping you, we are helping your core work, but in the details, you are the ones who will decide. You are the ones who know what you need. And especially in this time of humanitarian crisis, it's
Yes.
even more important, because what happens is that most of the donors, they only see, okay, there's a survival need, so we're going to fund only like this distribution of kits for 3 months there in
Right.
these camps there. And
Mhm.
it really doesn't help the development of a population, the development
Mhm.
of people. It just make them need it more, need the
Yes.
assistance more.
Yeah,
And
I
what
understand. Mm.
while when we see the things from our point of view in Haiti, we can tell our donors, this is important, and there are a lot of organizations that their work is to do the humanitarian work. But we still need to keep on working on education, working on development, working on negotiation for peace, and that cannot be achieved with the the type of humanitarian funding that exists now in the panorama. And
Mm.
you know donors like Clara Lionel, they believe in that. They understand that beside the humanitarian, they hear us, and they understand that this work has to be done simultaneously with the humanitarian work. It's not that the humanitarian work is not important, but when you limit yourself only to that, what will happen after the crisis? You
Yes.
will lose a lot of the things that you had already reached before.
Mm.
So and also, it's because we are in a crisis state, we need to be flexible. We need to say, okay, now there is some imprevisible thing that happened, situation that happened, but we can, with a partner like Clara Lionel Foundation, switch some of the funding towards something else, that where the need is
Mm,
more. While with traditional funders, the line are really inflexible, and you finish, and it happened to us. we
mm-hmm,
we had to renounce to one of our funding because of that. We needed to change some. There were some lines that we did not have the possibility to expand to, because of the situation. And when we asked to use it for something else that we needed,
uh-huh.
it was impossible. They told us no. So we were not able to work, and the money was there. So
Oh,
with Clara Lionel Foundation, we don't have this kind of
yes.
problem. They really listen to us, and they understand that things change in a
Mm-hmm.
situation of crisis, that we need the flexibility. And one thing that is very important is that they have the confidence in us that we will be able to take the good decision. And this is what we call really an equitable partnership. It's not a
Yes.
partnership where you have a donor that like subcontracts you to do something
Yes.
specific that they want to do.
Right. That they need to tick from a box,
Yeah,
perhaps, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
It's really a partnership, and an
Mm,
equitable one.
mm.
And that's really something very important for us. And
It's,
that's not very common.
I was just going to say it's important, but it seems to be so rare. And for the conversations that we've had already for this very special podcast series, this is what we are learning about Clara Lionel Foundation, being a nonprofit community ourselves, that it's the trust and the understanding and the listening that you receive from CLF, which serves organizations in the best possible way. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, Florence. And you spoke of one of the instances where, you know, as an organization, there was something that you felt was needed much more priority. There was a crisis, and this particular funder said, no, this is the funding, this is what it's for. You cannot use it. And I wanted to step back into the fact that, you know, Haiti has faced earthquakes, hurricanes, political violence, and, you know, as referenced before, the withdrawal of international aid. But each time, PROFAMIL has had to adapt. Can you share one moment when the pressure was at its highest and how your team found a way through it?
Yes, of course, of course. So let's say that 3 years ago, when we were at the beginnings of this new crisis, let's say, there were multiple crises within this crisis. And one of the principal ones was the security crisis around the clinics. So staff would needed to go to work
Hmm.
to provide services to people who need it. And at the same time, it was difficult to move and to go ourselves to the clinic. So at that time, we really decided to give it was difficult for me to take the decisions
Right.
about who can go, when to go, because I knew that it was difficult for most of my staff.
Hmm.
So what we decided is that the staff of each clinic would decide together. I let it to them to decide every day if it was a day when they could go to work,
Okay.
and also when they would have to close the clinic, because sometimes you are at the clinic and you hear that, movement is coming towards your
Mm,
area or something like that,
mm-hmm,
and they had the possibility themselves to say, okay, so today we close at 1, because, so because I felt that it was not a decision for me to take. So each clinic had their own possibility to decide regarding their own safety and security.
mm.
Because also depending on where you live, how long you have to travel to go to
Yes.
the clinic, there were also those factors. So I feel they really were all the staff was really happy for that. And this is
Mm-hmm,
one of the things that made us continue to work while others had just decided to close for some week or for some months.
mm-hmm,
Us on our side, we would open some days, close sooner some other days, but still manage to provide services, especially that services were very, very, very demanded. You know
mm-hmm.
that we have a unit that does care and treatment for women who survive sexual violence,
Yes.
and they really needed this kind of services.
Yes.
So yeah, this is how we adapted, by hearing when and how the staff was feeling about work. But at
Mm.
the same time, I should tell you that it's a very high mental load on the staff,
I can imagine.
even like this, and that
Mm.
we now what we do is that we do some sessions with psychologists on a regular basis, where we try to unload all of this stress,
Mm.
and all of our staff has access also, if they need one-to-one sessions with the psychologist, we do help them with that also. But even like this, I've had some burnout,
Mm.
and I feel very bad because our principal psychologist did had a burnout and had to leave work because she couldn't work
Yes.
anymore, even
Yes.
like this. So yeah, it's
Yes.
difficult. The environment is very difficult.
It's very difficult. It's
Mhm.
multi-layered. And for me, in listening to you, Florence, I have to really commend Profamil in not only working to protect women, but working to protect your staff and to hold a container of care for your staff as well, because that is incredibly important that the people who are doing the work are also taken care of. And so I just had to pause and let you know in listening to you how much that means to me and to, I'm sure, many others. And it's also exemplary, and I'm hoping that other organizations and leaders and founders who might be listening to this conversation also consider the welfare of those that are working and that are supporting them in the incredible work that you're all doing. So thank you for that, truly. And Florence, right now, I want to speak a little bit more about you. Just a little bit more. In that, in your public speaking, and it's something, again, that we have referenced a few times in this conversation, you have been very clear that women's bodies have become a battleground in Haiti's current crisis. And I just wanted to know if you could speak a bit more on that and what it means in practice for PROFAMIL and how PROFAMIL continues to show up in protection of women.
Yes, it is a very sad situation that we
Mm,
are living now in Haiti
hmm
with the gang violence. We always had just like in all the countries, no, sexist and sexual violence on women and girls. But this is a different kind of situation that is added to what happens everywhere else in the world. It's really the gang violence. It's, the armed groups that are disseminating, let's say, a kind of terror in Haiti, well, especially in the metropolitan area of Port-au-Prince,
Mm-hmm.
in two other departments of the country, but this has repercussions, of course, on the whole country. But what they do is that they expand little by little, taking territory, no? And the body of women and girls are really part of a territory.
Yes.
So when they invade a territory, there's this strategy to occupy the body of women and girls in general. And what's the difference? The difference is, while the other kind of sexual abuse and violations, they are done in secret somewhere, just to satisfy some sick
Yes.
some sick predators. This is really a public strategy. So in
Mm.
general, it's done in public. It's like a show, where people have to watch, and women and girls, they are violated not by one but by multiple persons,
Right.
and violated multiple times. And everybody has to see, everybody has to recognize it. So it's really a very powerful way to have everybody afraid, and for people to leave their area. They don't even want to fight because they want to protect the women
Yes.
and the girls.
Yes.
And you will see that it extends also to men, to children, and also to women that are older,
Mm.
because now it doesn't um it's not important what body you are
Mm.
occupying, but it's part of the territory that you are occupying. But of course, the most vulnerable, women, girls, LGBTQ people, they are the more impacted,
Mm-hmm.
even though we see more men and boys impacted than in a regular situation.
Mm. Wow, Florence. Thank you for being so very open and honest in the realities of Haiti and the realities of PROFAMIL and how you are showing up for community. And in all of this, I'm going to ask you, how do you find hope?
Well, hope is always there.
Mm.
Hope is there because, since we give direct services,
Mm-hmm.
we can see, even though we could not prevent a violence, but we
Yes.
can support, we can accompany, we can help a survivor. We can help her increase her auto-esteem, because she's like a crash when she comes. So
Yes.
we can help her begin believe that she can live still, that she still has something to live for,
Mm.
that she can even be a agent for change. So, and when we accompany these women, these girls, these men, and
Mm-hmm.
we see how their path toward positivity, toward again believing in something, this is what helps us to maintain hope. Of course, there are times where we are very near to give up because there
Mm,
are situations that are just very, very, very difficult. In
mm-hmm.
Haiti, for example, a lot of women they come, but then they have to go back to the same place
Right.
where they were victims of the violation,
Mm-hmm.
because those are most of them, they come sometimes from camps of displaced people. They don't have a home anymore, and
Mm,
this happened in the camp.
right.
And the people, the aggressors, they are still in the camp sometimes. So, and we don't, there are some places where we can direct them, some places that can protect them, but for a limited time. But there are not a lot enough space for all of these women, and sometimes they want to move with their children, and the
Mm,
places don't accept children. And this is one of the most difficult thing, that they have to go back to the place
to the place.
where they
Mm,
where they were victims.
mm,
And this like it perpetuates their condition of victim.
of course. So really, you know, the work of PROFAMIL, it doesn't stop. It continues. And in that, Florence, I want to know, how are you taking care of yourself?
Well, I really have a good relationship with all my staff.
Mm,
I also have in different networks in Haiti and other networks of people who work a little in the same situation around the world.
mm-hmm,
We meet, we talk about all of this, and it's very important sometimes. Because, for example, sometimes as a director, it's difficult to show that, okay, you're in this vulnerable time, and that you have difficulties to motivate others. You
yes,
have to still be strong.
yes.
But there are other networks of peers in other institutions in Haiti or around the world, that we talk to each other, and we really try to share, exchange, and share each other, so we can keep up with the work.
Mm, okay. And a question for you, Florence, looking at the future. And if you could speak to directly to a young Haitian woman who has said, I want to also dedicate my life to my community, what would you want her to know?
Yes, first I would tell her, wow, do it.
Yes.
If that's what you want to
Hmm.
do it. But you have to know that it's challenging, that there are times when you have to sit and cry, but also there are times where it's so satisfying, so empowering, when you see the change you have helped produce, the positive change, when you see smiles, when you see women who have being able to make a life for themselves, when you see girls that understand that their body is theirs, and that they don't have to accept anything anymore, and that express that they want to exercise their rights, that they know what their rights are in so many ways, because Asians, and I think that in general, Caribbean girls are so creative, and that they
Yes.
can express themselves. Once you give them the canal, the way, the vision of themselves that they can be, it is really, really satisfying. So there are moments that are very difficult, but through the fight and with the little results that you add little by little, it's really worth it.
It's worth it. Thank you, Florence. Thank you for your time. Thank you for saying yes to us. Thank you for your work that you do with PROFAMIL and your incredible team. Thank you for being here.
Thanks to you, really. Thanks to Brianna. Thanks to having thought of me for this moment. I hope that it will touch other women, other girls, other friends, colleagues that really believe in this fight for sexual and reproductive rights.
Merci, Florence.
Merci.
Merci. You've been listening to Rooted, Stories of Community-Driven Change, a limited edition podcast series from Island Girls Rock and the Clara Lionel Foundation. You can find us wherever you get your podcast fix.